Hi there. So today it is 90 degrees. Yep, 90 degrees and it is blazing out here. So I just got home from work and I feel like I'm like a broken record, but I haven't had hardly any time to get out and like do weeding, and it's just getting out of control because as you can see, we haven't got mulch down yet. We just got this mulch delivered yesterday, and before I can lay this down I have to get the weeds pulled, and I also wanted to plant some annuals before I lay the mulch down. That way I don't have to lay mulch down, move it out of the way, and plant the annuals. I can just put the mulch around the annuals after they're good and planted in the ground. So I've got some, actually we'll go on this side. We got bags of mulch this year. Usually we start out with like, oh gosh, like 15 yards of mulch. It's a lot, but it's just a lot to like shovel and stuff. So we decided just to go with all bags this year. So we'll see how it goes. And we're mulching the gully, which I haven't done in the last 2 years, I think. So it's going to be a lot more than we usually do. But I planted some zinnias down here on this hill the other day, and I've got some leftover plants that my sister grew me from seed. I have zinnias and some Chantilly Snapdragons right down here and just plug trays. So I wanted to plant some of those. I also have Salvia. It's just the Veronica blue Salvia, and I want to show you something. Over the last several years, I think I've come to the conclusion that the Victoria blue Salvia is a perennial for me. It comes back in certain areas. It depends on where it's planted, but I see a ton of it that I planted last year over in the gully, and it's coming back. It's pretty cool. So I want to plug some of these annuals in the ground. I've been already cleaning it up over there, and it's a weedy mess. If you have been, oh, there's bird nests up there. Every time I walk by, they fly out. But if you've been hanging out with me for any amount of time, you probably heard me say like 14 times that I love to weed. It's like relaxing and stuff. Listen. Listen, I am a little bit overwhelmed by the weeds. Yes, even me. I had to just sit down for a second. It is out of control. Like I said, I've usually gotten mulch on my garden by now, and now it's just like, it's nuts. And all of a sudden we had like tons of good rain and then tons of good heat and sun, like right now. So the weeds are just loving their life right now in my garden. So you can see here, I'll flip it around, put my water down here. You kind of see I started to clean it up in here. It looks a little bit nicer. Cleaned up the rocks along the edge there and started getting into some of the weeds here. These are all like, I planted a couple of coneflower, echinacea, on this hill, and they kind of like reseed themselves down here, and I don't really mind it. I have 3 incredible hydrangeas here, and I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but my incredible hydrangeas don't really perform well. I've got Annabelle hydrangeas all over my yard, and they do amazing. There's something about these incredibles that just really don't do much for me, but I'm not pulling them out yet. I'm giving them some time. I've got wee white hydrangea right here, 3 of them, and those do really well. But I don't know, there's something about these ones. They look decent, but I feel like they could look better because I've had them for like 3 years. So anyway, I was just cleaning this area up. I might throw some annuals in here. And then the other day, I cleaned up this area right here. Oh my word, you guys, it was horrible. It looked like that. It sure did. and I got to get in there too. I might actually take the rototiller to that because I can't be bothered with that type of weeding. But I want to plant some annuals in here, and then I also want to plant some annuals in here. I'm kind of waiting until these cleome pop up. They reseed themselves pretty much every year here, and what I do is I just kind of let them be because they look really pretty right here, and then I'll like transplant some of them and put them in other places. But I think I'm just gonna put my annuals that my sister grew me in here instead. Here's some salvia that is coming back. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clumps in here that or actually 6 clumps that I planted last year, and they're coming back. So I might just add some more salvia in there. I also like to plant all along this edge, which we might say that for another day because I have to edge it out, and my plan is to continue this garden all the way down the line. But that's a whole nother project. But I might actually get the rototiller out, till up some of this ground so it's easier to plant. Same with that, and then we'll get the plants in the ground. And my battery on my phone is only at like 31%. So since it's so hot out here, I'll just keep going and going and going, and I won't take a break, and then I'll get like overheated. So I'm just gonna go until my battery dies and that'll be my cue to take a break. But before we go get the plants, I'm looking at my lupin that came back that I got on clearance last year. I'm so excited about these. Look at these, aren't they awesome? So pretty. Here's another one too. Here's some more little buds. Those are doing really great. I wasn't sure how those would do because, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes lupin are kind of fussy. But okay, I'm gonna go grab for sure some salvia, and well, I'll just grab a flat of each one actually. That's what we'll do. Hi buddy. What you doing? So I'm gonna just grab one of the snaps. That's a snap. One of the salvias, and then the zinnias. Actually, I might leave the zinnias because I think I might want to put those in my raised garden bed. So I'm just gonna grab these two things. I had to go get my regular shoes on if I'm gonna be using the rototiller. But this section right here is looking pretty good. I was thinking I was gonna have to move these catching fire heucherella, the like yellow ones, because last year they didn't do so well. But I'm thinking they didn't do so well because of the 3-week drought we had, and then also we had our sprinkling line cut off for the exact same time that the 3-week drought came in. But they're holding their own so far. This is another cool little section I love. My weigilla are starting to bloom. These are wine and roses weigilla, and I have to get in here and weed as well, but I'll get you a closer look on that once we get the mulch on it. I'm just going down here. I'm gonna grab my rototiller.
Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Yeah, my bu Well, I'm standing on the corner with a bucket in my hand.
Alright, I got it pulled up. Just gonna rake it smooth. And I don't like, that just kind of helps loosen it up a little bit, but I just like doing that. It kind of gives me like a nice clean blank slate psychologically. Well, that looks a lot better for now, and I can go ahead and plant annuals all up in there. But let's just rake it out real quick. I think I'm gonna put some Victoria Blue in here, and then back in through there I'm gonna put some Snapdragons, and then also in through there. And then I think I might put some snaps and maybe some zinnias in here, and then a few of the Victoria Blue Salvia up in there. And there's one other thing I wanted to show you. This is actually the Victoria Blue Salvia I wanted to show you that I planted last year. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clumps, or actually 6 clumps of it that came back on this little hillside here. So that's pretty cool. But all right, let's get these, well, some of these annuals in the ground.
Went up on the mountain and I looked into the sea. I seen the crabs and the fishes with a big puppy, 'cause my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer.
As you can see, the sprinklers are on. I'm about to get hit with them. My husband just turned the sprinklers on, so maybe that's my cue to quit for the day. I'm like trying to get out of the flow, but my battery is on like 5% already. It runs out really fast, so I think I'm just going to call it quits for at least right now until the sprinkler runs its cycle, and then I'll come back out here and finish up the rest. If I don't get out here tonight yet, I will get back out here tomorrow morning, maybe before work. Maybe we can get some stuff done before work. That would be awesome. But I guess while we're here, a lot of you ask how, I kind of felt good. A lot of you ask how I water my plants, and I really don't. We have an underground sprinkling system that waters our grass. So you can see it's on right now. And they're all pointed towards my grass, but through the years, as I have made my gully garden, we have kind of pointed them to go onto my gully. So, oh, I gotta get out of the way, I'm gonna get hit. So, you know, some of them actually go into my gully, which is really nice. And they only run for like 20 minutes, so it's not a ton of water, but every little bit helps. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the irrigation that they get, is that little sprinkler a couple times a day for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna grab my water and my gloves at least, and then we'll come back out either tonight when the cycle is done running, or maybe even tomorrow morning. Well, I'm back out here. I got a little bit of a charge in my battery. It's not fully charged, but we've got some, I think enough to finish up the other tray of Snapdragons there. And also, the sprinklers are going up in the yard. They're not pointing on this garden anymore, so we're good to go. I also filled up my water. It was a nice little break. Let's keep going with the annuals. Move this side a little bit. Okay, so I wasn't sure, but these are Serendipity allium, and they're really pretty. I love them a lot. And I usually cut them off. Just got hit by the sprinkler. I usually cut the blooms off when they're done blooming for this season. This last season I didn't. I let them go. And I didn't think they went to seed because they're a proven winter variety. And usually the proven winter varieties are sterile. So, but I'm not sure if they actually are, because I had a ton of allium popping up all over the place in here. And one of you told me about that. One of you were like, you better cut those off or they're gonna reseed themselves. And you were right. I don't know who it was. It was back last year. But they went to town, so they're beautiful. But I don't want them all in this section. There's like, here, I'll pull a bunch of them out and show you, but they're just everywhere popping up. But anyway, that's kind of why I took the rototill to this area. And as soon as I get some mulch down, we should be fine. But, alright, so we'll just plant some in here. These are the Chantilly Snapdragons. I seen them in my sister's garden last year, and I said, what is that? Snapdragon, it is beautiful. And she's like, that's the new, or well, I don't know if she said new, but she said that's called the Chantilly. And she got it from Floret, which is like a lady, I don't know, I think it's just a lady that sells flowers. I'm not really, I don't know. I'm not big into like the cut flower world, but I kind of stick to the old-fashioned varieties that have been around for a while, like the blue Salvia. I love that one. I probably could pinch these back, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna leave them be. Put another one in there. And my sister said that all of my impatiens that she grew me, my beacon impatiens, are all done and ready to be planted. So I'm thinking about, if I have time after work tomorrow, I might go pick those up. We'll see how many of them I can fit in my car. Some nice rocks. Get it. Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Well, there ain't no use of me working so hard when I got a woman. Cause my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it.
and I'm out here early before work. Everything was watered in really well. It's looking great. I might actually water it. Well, I probably will water it again today when I have time later today after work or lunchtime or something. But I was just gonna flip you around and show you what I did. Right in here is where I put all the Chantilly Snapdragons. Over here is where I put just a ton of blue Salvia. That one was one that actually came back from last year. I think I had like 2 or 3 plants in here last year, and that one came back. So that's hopefully going to be really pretty. And then in here, I put the rest of the Chantilly Snapdragon in this section here. And then I filled in that section with blue Salvia. And then those thicker, bunchier ones, those are the ones that came back from last year. Hopefully pretty soon I can knock back these old daffodil leaves. They are starting to like kind of fall over and brown up. So hopefully within the next week or 2, I can cut those back and it will look a lot less messy. And then I can, I don't know, maybe I'll put some zinnias in there as well. But it's looking pretty cool. And I think I can start putting mulch down on this section at least. And then I'll kind of continue carrying through weeding, planting, and putting mulch down. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, planting some annuals real quick in my garden. And you know, I'm learning, I'm consistently learning lots of different things throughout my life, but I'm learning that sometimes projects just don't take, you know, one day. Sometimes they don't take the amount of time that you think it's gonna take. You just have to pick away at it when you have time, and that's okay. Especially as a gardener, I think being realistic with yourself and setting realistic goals can make or break you, and make or break your attitude, I guess, towards gardening. Because I gotta say, as I look around, I'm seeing all of the weeds. That's like that's all I'm seeing right now. That's all I'm focusing on. And I'm missing all of the beautiful plants. I'm like, look at all the beautiful plants that are out there too. If I got you real close, you could probably see all of the weeds. In fact, my husband, we were looking out the window, that window up there last night, which we love to do, and look at the gully. You can see like a kind of a bird's eye view. And it's beautiful. And he said, what are all those plants back there? And he pointed to back there. Here, I'll show you. I'll take you back there. He's like, what are all those plants back there? He's like, I thought you really haven't planted anything this year. And I was like, oh, those are weeds. See all of this? It's insane. Now, the Brenner has to be cut back. So I'll come in here and, you know, I'll trim these back so that will look a lot less, like, messy. But the only plants I have in here are 2 Astilbe and that little autumn frost hosta, and the rest is weeds. And same goes over here. They're just, you know, starting to creep. So anyway, I don't garden for a living. I have other things going on in my life, like a full-time job and different things. So I have to remind myself, like, it's okay to just get what you can done when you can, and it's not the end of the world. Take moments like Teresa from the West Fork reminded us a few weeks back. Just take moments to just look and appreciate what you do have and the plants that are looking really good, and you can look past the weeds and get to it when you can. Anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you have a wonderful day today and an amazing weekend. Bye. And I just noticed as I'm walking in, I'm gonna take a moment to appreciate this. My Siberian irises are blooming, starting to bloom. These are so neat. So pretty. But I did weed this little bed the other day, so it's looking a lot better. And my Weigela is blooming. These are so pretty. I got these for 50 or 75% off at the end of the season one year. Here in Michigan we have, you know, the 4 seasons, and so at the end of the summer season all the plants go usually 50 to 75% off, and I got all of these plants on that sale. So they still looked beautiful. They were beautiful plants. They just had to get rid of them for the year. But that is the spilled wine Weigilla. I've got some Bobo hydrangea, some euonymus, winter creeper, and then these are the red rover, I think, heucherella. No, hopscotch. These are hopscotch heucherella. Anyway, some blue junipers and a Carolina wren, a plum tree, a Siberian iris, and lots of great things. But, well, goodbye for good this time. We'll see you later. What are you doing?